It starts with a $100 bill tucked under a coffee cup. You're a rookie cop, 6 months on the force, and you just pulled over a car with out-of-state plates doing 60 in a 40 zone. The driver is calm, too calm. And when you ask for his license and registration, there's a Benjamin Franklin staring up at you from the center console. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't have to. You've heard about this. The older cops talk about it in the locker room, always in hypotheticals, always with plausible deniability. You could take the money and let him go. You could call it in and spend the next 6 hours doing paperwork for a traffic stop that leads nowhere. You have a mortgage. Your wife is pregnant. $100 is $100. You take the bill and tell him to slow down. He drives away. You sit in your cruiser for 10 minutes, staring at the money, telling yourself it was a one-time thing. It wasn't. The next envelope comes a month later. $500, left in your locker at the station. No note, no explanation. You don't know who put it there, which is the point. Someone is watching you. Someone decided you passed the first test. You pocket the money and pretend you never saw it. The third payment is different. A man approaches you at a bar after your shift. He knows your name, your badge number, your wife's name, your home address. He says he represents certain business interests in the city. He says they appreciate officers who understand how the world really works. He slides an envelope across the bar. $2,000. Your job, he explains, is simple. Once a week, you'll receive a text message with a location. You'll drive to that location and park for exactly 15 minutes. That's it. You don't have to do anything. You just have to be visible. A cop car parked outside certain businesses at certain times sends a message. It says this place is protected. It says don't bother robbing this laundromat or shaking down this restaurant. You're a scarecrow in a uniform. You take the envelope. 6 months later, you're making more from the cartel than you make from the department. $5,000 a month, cash, untraceable, plus bonuses for special assignments. The special assignments start small. Lose a piece of evidence from the property room. A baggie of cocaine that was supposed to be tested, somehow it disappears. A witness statement that contradicts the cartel's preferred narrative, somehow it gets misfiled. You're not hurting anyone, you tell yourself. You're just moving paper around. The system is corrupt anyway. The prosecutors plea bargain everything down to nothing. The judges are all political appointees who golf with defense attorneys. You're just taking your cut of a game that was rigged long before you got here. Then they ask you to do something real. A mid-level dealer got arrested by another unit, a unit that doesn't play ball. He's sitting in county lockup waiting for his arraignment. He knows things. Names, routes, safe houses. If he talks to make a deal, a lot of people go down. Your job is to make sure he doesn't talk. You visit him in holding. You're a cop, so nobody questions it. You tell him that his mother lives alone at an address you recite from memory. You tell him that his sister picks up his nephew from school every day at 3:15. You tell him that accidents happen all the time, terrible accidents, and it would be a shame if his family had an accident while he was locked up and couldn't protect them. He pleads guilty the next day and takes 7 years without saying a word. You get a $10,000 bonus. You throw up in the parking lot of the station and tell yourself you're not a bad person. The money changes you. You pay off your mortgage. You buy a new truck, nothing too flashy but nice. You take your wife to restaurants you couldn't afford before. She asks where the money comes from. You tell her you're doing private security on your days off. She wants to believe you, so she does. You start noticing things you never noticed before. Which cops drive cars they shouldn't be able to afford? Which cops always seem to be at the right place at the right time? Which cops never make big arrests in certain neighborhoods? There's a whole parallel economy running through the department, and now you're part of it. You're not alone. You're not even unusual. You're just another cog in a machine that runs on cash and silence. 3 years in, you get promoted to detective. Your handler, the man from the bar, is pleased. Detectives are more valuable than patrol officers. Detectives control investigations. Detectives decide which leads to follow and which to ignore. Your first assignment is a homicide. A body in an alley, shot twice in the head, execution style. You know who did it before you even arrive at the scene. You know because you got a text message 30 minutes before the 911 call, telling you the location, telling you to make sure the investigation goes nowhere. You show up and you follow procedure. You canvass the neighborhood, you collect evidence, you interview witnesses, and then you write a report that says there are no leads, no suspects, no witnesses willing to cooperate. Case goes cold. Another unsolved murder in a city full of them. Nobody asks questions. Nobody cares about a dead drug dealer in a bad neighborhood. The second homicide is harder. The victim is a college student. Wrong place, wrong time. Caught a stray bullet during a deal that went bad. Her parents are on the news every night, crying, demanding justice. The chief assigns extra resources. The media is watching. You can't make this one disappear. So you give them a suspect. A low-level corner boy who is in the area that night, who has priors, who fits the description close enough. You plant evidence. A gun in his apartment, wiped clean and loaded with the right caliber. A witness who suddenly remembers seeing him running from the scene, after you explain what happens to people who don't cooperate with police investigations. The kid is 19 years old. He maintains his innocence through the trial, but the evidence is overwhelming. He gets life without parole. The real shooter, a cartel enforcer, gets relocated to another city with the organization's thanks. You get a $50,000 bonus and a commendation from the mayor. The college girl's parents thank you personally at a press conference. You shake their hands and accept their gratitude and feel nothing at all. 5 years in, you're running your own crew. 4 cops, all on the take, all loyal to you because you're their connection to the money. You don't report to the department anymore, not really. You report to a man named Ramirez who you've never met in person, only spoken to through encrypted messages. Ramirez runs the cartel's operations in your city. You run the cartel's operations in your department. You control which raids happen and which don't. You tip off shipments that need to get through. You arrest competitors to clear the market for your employers. You've become exactly what you swore to fight when you took the oath. You remember the oath. You recited it in a room full of family and friends, your wife crying happy tears, your father finally proud of you for the first time in your life. That man doesn't exist anymore. You killed him somewhere along the way, one envelope at a time. The federal investigation starts without warning. FBI agents show up at the station asking questions about evidence handling procedures. They're polite, professional, and clearly looking for something specific. Someone talked. Someone in your network or someone in Ramirez's organization cut a deal and started naming names. You don't know who. You don't know how much they know. You spend 3 weeks waiting for the knock on your door, the badge in your face, the handcuffs on your wrists. It doesn't come. Not for you. It comes for 2 of your guys, arrested at dawn, perp walked in front of cameras. The message is clear. The feds know, but they don't have enough. Not yet. You're being squeezed. Someone wants you to flip, to become a witness, to trade everything you know for a chance at witness protection. But you know what happens to cops who flip. You've seen the photos. You've helped dispose of the evidence. You have a choice now. You can run, disappear with whatever money you've saved, try to build a new life in a country without extradition. You can cooperate, trust that the federal marshals can protect you and your family, spend the rest of your life looking over your shoulder. Or you can stay, ride it out, hope that the investigation runs out of funding or gets reassigned or simply moves on to easier targets. You choose to stay. You're a cop. You know how to survive. You know that investigations fail more often than they succeed, that witnesses recant, that evidence gets suppressed, that lawyers find technicalities. You've been on the other side of this equation enough times to know the odds. You go to work every day like nothing is wrong. You smile at the FBI agents when you pass them in the hallway. You wait. The trial, when it finally comes, is for the other guys. Your guys. They kept their mouths shut, took their deals, pled guilty to lesser charges. They'll do 5 years each and come out to fat retirement accounts the cartel set up for their families. You testified as a character witness. You said there were good cops who made mistakes. You sat 20 feet from the federal prosecutor who spent 2 years trying to build a case against you, and you lied under oath without blinking. The prosecutor knows. You can see it in his eyes. But knowing and proving are different things, and you've spent a decade making sure nothing can be proved. You're still a cop. You still carry a badge and a gun. You still answer calls and write reports and pretend to serve and protect. You're 52 years old, and you've got 8 years until your pension kicks in. 8 more years of taking money to look the other way. 8 more years of living with what you've done. Sometimes, late at night, you think about the kid serving life for a murder he didn't commit. You think about the families destroyed by the drugs you helped traffic. You think about the oath you took and the person you used to be. Then you check your offshore account balance and the thoughts fade away. You're not a good person. You stopped being a good person a long time ago. But you're alive, you're free, and you're going to stay that way. In your world, that's the only victory that matters. The money keeps coming. The bodies keep piling up. The badge keeps opening doors. And somewhere, right now, a rookie cop just found $100 bill under a coffee cup.